Jaye and Hatah podcast.
Welcome back, Jaye and Hatah.
That's what I said, Jaye and Hatah.
No, I know you did, but
Jaye and Hatah podcast.
some people think it's Hatah. First of all, if you think it's Hatah or anything other than Hatah, then that means you have not actually clicked on any links, any episodes.
Yeah, man. Even when you tell them, man, they still don't hear you.
Right. But anyways, welcome back, y'all.
Welcome back, y'all.
How you feeling?
I am good, man. We just came back.
We just came back. Where do we go?
I mean, we just went on down to Tulum real quick.
Tulum. So for people that don't know, Tulum is about an hour and 45 minutes outside of Cancun, Mexico. So, we decided, we've been in the house for a little while, and, usually we be on a plane with somebody's boarding pass going to somebody's city.
Yeah, we're going somewhere.
It's been a minute, so we decided to go ahead.
I mean, but you say it's been a minute, and then people going to be like, what? Didn't y'all just go to Hawaii?
No, but I'm saying it's been a minute since we've done our usual occasional travel.
Oh, that's true, too.
So, yes, we're getting back in the swing of things for us.
Yeah.
So, we went to Tulum last week. That was a trip.
Yeah, it was nice, man. It was
literally
nice.
A trip. The weather was cool. So we decided this week, instead of our usual, mental health type topics and stuff, we'll kind of tell you guys about our experience in Tulum. Because a lot of people haven't gone. A lot of people have gone, but a lot of people haven't.
And a lot of people have been asking, too, about how we did it, what we did, why we chose to do what we did.
Yeah.
And people feel like we just didn't give y'all enough content if you haven't been following the Instagram page or
Please
Facebook.
Follow Instagram.
That's where we post, all the stuff. And people are like, y'all look like y'all had a ball, but...
What did you do?
But what did you do, though?
So that's what today's episode is going to be about. All things Tulum. Well, all things that we experienced with Tulum.
Yeah, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And the funny, because there were some hilarious moments. So, first things first, why did we choose Tulum? So, it was really more me. First, we saw that tickets were cheap to go to Cancun. Like I said, you get to Tulum through Cancun Airport. And the flight was like $140 after tax, round trip. Total for us both, so about $70 for me, $70 for him. Leaving out of DFW nonstop. Might as well. And did we go through Spirit this time? Yes, we did. Because while people have a lot of bad things to say about Spirit, me and Spirit have no beef.
Oh, mine.
Because literally, we still get there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as long as it get me up and down safely, I'm fine.
With as minimal turbulence as possible, and you can't avoid turbulence no matter what kind of plane you're in. That's kind of like buying a certain type of car because you're expecting to not get in traffic. Like, traffic is something that's going to happen. Turbulence is something that's going to happen because
I never thought about it like that.
Because it's in the sky. It's nothing that you can control. So, I mean, other than heart, but that's a different story, y'all.
But I feel like I've had way worse flights than Spirit.
Definitely. Spirit is still my top tier. But
I'm not saying that it's like the lap of luxury.
It's not the lap of luxury.
But I'm just saying, for what I pay for
it gets the job done. What's your goal? Is your goal to get somewhere or get somewhere and be very comfortable?
Now, if your plane ride, relatively comfortable. I guess you want your plane ride to be comfortable, but if your main point is for your plane ride to be comfortable more than where you're going to be at, right. You don't want to be down where the Dusty Krusty's gonna be at.
Listen, is your end result? Are you trying to just go to Walmart and get what you need, or are you trying to go to Pottery Barn and get what you need? You know what I mean? So
like Williams Sonoma.
Williams Sonoma. I'm too poor for Williams Sonoma. I'm not there yet. But anyways, we flew with Spirit, 140 round trip for both of us out of Dallas, nonstop. The flight was fine. The flight was actually one of our better ones.
Yeah, for the most part.
It was pretty good. As far as the people on the plane and all that aspect. Because sometimes, Spirit doesn't get really rowdy with us, but also we don't go at peak time, so to speak.
That's true too.
But this time we kind of did. We had early morning flights, before 10 a.m. So the flight was fine, and we flew into Cancun Airport.
And it wasn't super packed either.
It wasn't super packed. Right now, the COVID travel restrictions, you have to have a negative COVID test coming back, but we didn't have to have one going. So we could go to Cancun with no problem.
Now, how much did we pay for them once we needed to come back? How much did we pay for them?
Coming back, we paid $35 per person in US dollars. And then you have to have a negative COVID test, and it could be rapid antigen, PCR, whatever. Again, we pay $35, and you have to have it done within 3 days of your departing flight. But there are no restrictions or COVID requirements going to Cancun. Get to the airport. For those of you who have not been to Cancun Airport, it's all fun. It's all fine and dandy. You're going through customs just like you would anywhere else. But as soon as you get past security and your bag is security, everyone is there trying to book you for a timeshare, for excursions.
Everybody and their mama out there.
The cartel is probably there trying to kidnap you.
Don't you want to do some drug trafficking?
They don't say that, but I would not be surprised. But everyone is there from all these different hotels. That was on the beach. But trying to get you to, hey, you have transportation? Of course, you just got here, so maybe you don't. So why don't you come over? What I don't like is that they come up and actually touch you.
Yeah, or man, they be trying to pull you off away from people.
And they will literally get in front of you. And you know how everyone who knows me knows how I'm about my personal space. So my thing is, you just don't make eye contact with them.
I be trying not to, man, but damn,
you be falling for it every time.
I be trying to make sure that they just not finna get in my way. So when I look at them like, say, no, don't come over here, then they be like, hey, my friend.
I used to be like really, because I'm like, oh, I don't want them to be mad because I'm not responding to them, because I feel like if you're spoken to, you need to speak back. Fuck that. I don't even do that no more. If they talking to me, I just act like I don't even hear them.
Except for that man on the beach.
Listen, we're gonna talk about that later. That's different. That was completely different. But anyway, so we had already pre-arranged transportation. So we had a private driver. Now, as far as leaving, because like we said, it's like about 1 hour and 45 minutes to get from Cancun to Tulum. Yeah. Which, by the way, we never really said why Tulum.
Oh, you never said.
I never said it. My bad, y'all. So because we had already been to Cancun before, I had heard a lot about Tulum. It's in the jungle.
So excited to tell them about Tulum,
right? So I was like, you know what? Let's try Tulum. I did a little research because I am a researcher when it comes to traveling. I'm the researcher of the group.
Now when we did Cancun, boy, Cancun was nice.
Cancun was nice, but it was more of the resort style, all inclusive.
Yeah. Oh, boy, that all inclusive.
Yeah, we still got away from the resort for a day, for like an afternoon, and went into the city. But it was more of a relax. We don't have to spend anything. All of our food and everything is right here in this resort. It was restricted, but it was still really nice.
Yes, and I just wanted to kind of preference that, because that's also part of the reason why we chose Tulum, is because we did Cancun before.
We already did it before, so I was thinking, why don't we do a little different experience with excursions
Tulum is where all the black people was going.
And then, like, how I say on just about every episode, I'm a Facebook auntie, and I joined this group called Black in Tulum. I'm in the Black travel movement, but then I found out about Black in Tulum, and a lot of Black people who live there, who travel there a lot, especially because of Corona. They've just relocated there and live there or moved permanently. Yep. And I know they also have events, and I was like, man, it would be cool to go to like some Black events in Mexico. So I was like, let's do Tulum. So fast forward to where we were at. So we prearranged for transportation. Now, transportation, you can do it a couple of different ways in Tulum. Well, in Cancun to get to Tulum, because it's about 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Yes.
Some people, you can get on the ADO or ADO bus. And it's...
Oh, that was the big,
it's kind of like a Greyhound.
Yeah, like, oh boy.
Yeah. Now, there's a bunch of people, I think there's a lot of them, and they leave, like, I think every hour, every 45 minutes. Ooh, so, depending on when you land, you may not even have to wait that long, but... That's a bus situation. It's significantly cheaper, like $25 and maybe even $15 per person.
Yeah.
However, I'm a little bougie, and I know that you have to get to the ADO bus station, or from the Cancun airport to the station in downtown Tulum, and then you still have to get a driver or a taxi to pick you up and take you to your Airbnb. We had prearranged to have private transportation. The private transportation was with, I don't even remember the name of the company, but it was in Black in Tulum's files, where they have like a list of drivers and transportation companies.
But it was also good to be able to just be by yourself once you got off the plane.
Right, because we don't like being around too many people like that. And then we were already on the plane. We had our masks on the entire time. And then if we were getting on a bus, I would just personal preference. I'm definitely wearing my mask. We would still have our mask on. That's for another hour and 45 minutes. But this way with our own private transportation, and I take it back, we booked it through our Airbnb host. She connected me with the driver. So we were in like this like van. We were like a Sprinter van. It is what it is. And nice. And it was just us and the driver. And then also because we had an Airbnb, they would drop us off at like a supermarket on the way, so we could get like some necessities. Oh boy, that's clutch. The bottled water, because you have to have bottled water in Mexico. Yeah. And then we got like our snacks, our like chips and our like candies that we like to have. The Oreos, boy. The Mexican Oreos, the Oreos. and so that was nice. And then again, we could listen to whatever music we wanted to, if we wanted him to play our own music. Or I took that time. Or he could just be completely quiet and we could just enjoy the scenery, catch up on maybe some emails or text messages or whatever. And just ride. So that was really nice. And for that, we paid $170, but it was round trip. It was total. That's funny. We pay more for that than the actual flight. Now that I think about it. Damn. But it was an hour and 45-minute drive, which included a stop, and then that was round trip for both of us. So it was a little expensive, but I feel like for the length of the drive and the comfort, because we weren't like packed in a bus or anything, we were able to be very comfortable. We got groceries, and the driver spoke perfect English. It was great. So that was our transportation. We took the transportation company and they brought us to our Airbnb. Our Airbnb was pretty nice. I mean, it wasn't like, 20th floor downtown Tulum, but we were close to downtown. Yeah. And it was pretty close to the beach. We had our own private pool, is it considered like a plunge? Not a plunge pool, but it was like, I don't want to say it was like 4 feet though. It was at least 4 feet. Yeah. It was like a little private. It was a really nice private sized pool, and right there on the balcony, the sunlight was there, and it was just when we got there, it was perfect. Nice little modern kitchen, and then like the 1 bedroom. It was actually a penthouse. It was because we were in penthouse number 3. It's nice. And there was 24-hour security at the front, so no one could just come in. You didn't have to worry about like people running in and snatching you up. Right. And that's always been my thing if we, going to Mexico, because that's one thing people hear about a lot is, the crime. Well, I felt completely safe. I never want y'all to hear of us doing an episode of the Jaye and Hatah podcast from Locked Up Abroad. Listen, because we would not be together. We was some drug mules over there in Mexico. Right. No. And it's funny because Mexico really scares me. Like, I may get bold in other cities. I will not get bold in Mexico because they do whatever they want over there. Get booked. It is known that the police will try to, scam you, con you out of money, and bribe you. And I don't want to get into it with the federales. So I try to be on my P's and Q's when we go to Mexico. Now, I will tell you, the only downside I will say about the place that we stayed is, y'all know your boy don't do spiders. Okay, Tulum is in the jungle. I know it's in the jungle, but damn it, this thing was, dog. And when I went into the room, when we came back, it was our first night. When I came back in and I went into the bedroom, I was like, I'm gonna have to kill this spider because he does not do spiders, and it was big. I almost wanted to be like, you know what? We don't even have to sleep. We just gonna sleep We're gonna sleep on the couch and watch Netflix in Spanish because it wasn't in Spanish. It kind of was, but it was for the most part. But yeah, that was the only thing. But luckily, we only had to deal with that one spider. Man, I'm just saying, man. Look, man. We had to tag team the spider, y'all. We had to spray it with air Glade. Because, black folks will use whatever we can because there was no bug spray in the Airbnb. And I even messaged the girl like, there's no bug spray and there's like a huge spider out here, girl. And she's like, there should be some. There was not any. So what did we do? We used what we had. Man, so I used some Glade air freshener. I threw that shoe and I just And the whole spider just blew up. It just exploded.
And all night I was sitting up with my eyes open, like, please don't let another spider be here.
you just know it's just one waiting to just crawl on your face. Like it's
I would just die.
I would die. But other than that, it wasn't bad. Like there was air conditioning. The air conditioning worked very well.
It worked very well.
Very well. Because I know some people who say that depending on where they're at, their Airbnbs either don't have air conditioning or it doesn't work that well. We had 2 very nice size units.
Yeah, but they had 2 zone air conditioners. That thing, no good for 1 bedroom.
It was very nice. Like it's somewhere I would live. I would live there.
Now I'm glad we didn't rent a car.
Listen,
I know a lot of people say that they rent cars, but I'm glad we didn't rent a car.
And with, like I said, because I do a lot of research, a lot of people were either, you can rent a car and you have to pay like a $200-$300 deposit, but the car's pretty cheap, but the roads are really bad. There's potholes everywhere. And then there were some people that were like, well, no, we just decided to just have a driver because we didn't even want to have to deal with potentially getting stopped. If they ran a red light, they would talk about getting bribed by the police for like, I think one person said because it was like 5 or 6 of them in a van, the police tried to tell them they need to pay them 2 million pesos. Now, as far as pesos are concerned, it's not $2 million.
Now talk to them about the pesos.
Pesos, for every 100 pesos is like $5. So for every 1,000 pesos is like $50. The way that we tried to keep track, because it's always cheaper to pay in pesos versus in dollars.
Yeah, for sure.
We had money converted, and then we just had this handy dandy little app. Unit converter app that had a currency option, and you would just put in how many pesos, you put it pesos, convert to dollars. If they were like, oh, this is 2,000 pesos, you put it in the app and it'll tell you that is roughly $100. Roughly.
Because them ones be talking fast.
They talk fast, and I'm quick with math, but even then I was on vacation and I may have been drinking the whole time we were there. Yeah, you was. So I had my app so that
they go back and forth real quick between how much it is in pesos and how much is in dollars. So he'll be like, okay, yeah, it'll be 200 pesos. He'll be like, okay, 200 pesos is this. And then he'd be like, okay, but for 400 pesos, this, and then next thing you know, you up paying him 800 pesos. You'd be like, well, damn, I just thought I would just do this one thing real quick.
And then because you obviously know you're a tourist, they know you're a tourist, you're like, are they being honest with me or are they trying to get me and talk fast?
Yeah.
But what I found is as long as you're genuine with the people that you're talking to, as long as you're not rude, you're overly accommodating. I feel like everyone that was telling us the pesos to dollars conversion, they were pretty honest.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, okay, wait a minute, and then I'll check my app and I'm like, no, that is about right. Of course they round up. If 100 pesos is like $4.79, they're not gonna be like, oh, it's $4.79 or it's $9.58 if you have to. No, they just round up to the nearest dollar. So that's to be expected because I would do the same thing too. But so definitely convert your money if you can. You'll save a little bit that way, but also have an app or something handy to do that conversion for you.
So what activities did we do?
Well, wait. So we opted to go for a drive, like getting taxis instead.
Oh yeah, because we were
now in the Black in Tulum group, there's a file. There are different files, and there's one of drivers, and of course, a lot of them communicate on WhatsApp. So my suggestion is, if you know that you want to have a driver or even arrange some excursions, you can, chat with these people through WhatsApp, especially if they're not that great at speaking English. They have a way of, going to Google Translate or whatever and then translating whatever they need to say back to you. And you can kind of negotiate a rate like, hey, this is where I'm at. Use location from maps or whatever and tell them this is what I want to do. Or say, hey, I want to go do something like this. And they'll give you their suggestions, and then also give you a quote. It's always best to go ahead and negotiate that quote, because when you do it on the spot, because even though while we had a driver for most of the day whenever we were out, in the evening time when we didn't, and we would just kind of have to get a taxi, it definitely ended up costing more.
Yeah, because what cost us $25 cost us $60 on the way back because it was a different dude.
Right. So it's definitely best to either go ahead and have a driver arranged for the day, or at least for the portion that you plan on being out, with a negotiated rate. Because also what I liked is, because like the one driver we have for one day, it was about $120 for the entire day, but he literally took us a bunch of different places.
And he waited
for us. And would tell us where he would be parked. And then whenever we were ready, we would text him and he would come out and we wouldn't have to worry about it. We dealt with the same person and we didn't pay him until the end of the day.
But I can tell you, I definitely knew when he was done, boy. When he got that titty picture, he was like, hey, man, you got one more stop.
So, like, I know a good amount of Spanish. On a scale of 1 to 10, I can read and write at about an 8.5. I know that's a high number, but I know my shit. But when it comes to speaking it, I'm about like a 5-6.
Yeah.
So I got to practice a little bit, but I also don't want to let them know what I know because I want them to kind of be their authentic selves. So we're in the taxi and we were going somewhere, and our driver gets a voicemail because I noticed he had been texting some girl when he was driving. Whatever. Well, I didn't know if it was necessarily a girl, but I figured it had to be a girl because
because he could have run us off the road 2 or 3 times, like texting her back.
And then he gets this voicemail, and he just goes ahead and plays the voicemail in the car. He had been with us most of the day.
Yeah, because he was like, they don't know shit. They don't know what's going on.
And even if you didn't know Spanish, from her tone and how she was talking, and she was all like this, and she was ready. She was ready.
She knew he had made some money that day.
She was ready, or she had already started. And so I knew that he was texting something back to her, but I guess my head was down. I was looking at something because you said you actually saw some pictures.
I tell you, before that message came in, he was texting, and I just happened to look over. Boy, that titty picture came in. Boy, hey, I thought we was finna end up in the creek.
You know what?
And then right after that is when he played the voice message, and I was like,
see, I didn't even know.
I don't know what the fuck she said, but hey,
it's go time.
This day is over.
This day is over. And then, like, about an hour after that, he's like, so the quote that I gave you was up until this time, and I was like, I mean, if you was just gonna go get you some cootie cat, that's all you got to say, dog. But
what they call it in Spanish? Panoche.
Some panoche. Anyway, so yeah, but we had an amazing driver. Shout out to Sergio. He was good.
You ain't gonna listen to it.
He ain't gonna listen to it, and if he does, he'll be like, "Hey, yeah, he got a good tip too. I hope you got what you was trying to get when you dropped us off." But so yeah, let's talk about where Sergio took us and what did we do. So activities did we do or we went to?
Oh,
okay. It's a little different. But so when people talk about Tulum, one of the major activities that you're going to hear all the time because they're everywhere, there's a million of them, are the cenotes.
There was a lot of them.
So like literally cenotes. Every block there was like a cenote, I felt like. But so
what is a cenote?
So it's like an underwater, like a inside of a cave, like a sinkhole, like a natural sinkhole with like water and fish. You know, you can go swimming through the cenote. And there are bats, y'all. So
anacondas.
So funny story. Our driver Sergio, you know, we told him, we said we want to go to some cenotes, so take us to a couple.
Now I don't know how to swim. Let me just say that.
Well, you do a little bit. I don't know how to swim.
Okay.
Like if I don't have a floaty, it's not gonna happen. So we were under the impression that we were gonna go to some where there were like some like maybe some waist deep cenotes where we could just like walk around, take a few cute pictures.
I mean, for me, because all the way down there, every time I had looked it up before we went down there, I just seen people like in the inner tube. So I was thinking it was one of the inner tube type situations where we were gonna be like in the thing and we're gonna be like sliding down the water.
No,
and we're gonna go out on the other end.
That wasn't the case. So when we got there, we changed and everything, and the guy's like, "You know how to swim, right?" We were like, "No."
Nah.
And he's like, "I bet we got you."
Don't worry about it. We got you.
Wrong. No, wrong. So he gave us like this. What are they called? like the little donut things.
Yeah, the little life buoy looking thing.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, both of y'all hold on to this, and we're going to swim through this cave where these bats are and stuff. And
we both hold it?
We were like, nah, that ain't going to work. And he's like, okay, well, how about this? Why don't you just we can go to the end, because it's like a little trail, so to speak.
Hold on, let me
take pictures.
Let me explain this a little better for you.
Okay.
So, after the dude was like, y'all know how to swim, right? We was like,
I said no.
He was like, okay, don't worry about it. We're going to have somebody to swim for you. And we're going to get the little, the little life buoy thing, right? Mm-hmm. So we walked down, dog, this little steep ass little cliff.
Yeah.
Dog, I don't like heights. Look, y'all know I don't like heights.
But it wasn't even that high,
It wasn't even high. But look, it was a little steep.
Well, and then, of course, we couldn't see the bottom of the water either. Yeah.
So we get all the way down to the bottom, and everybody else just instantly just jump into the water. And they just swimming and having a good time, and we standing there looking at each other.
Like, come in, it'll be fine.
And the dude was like, all right, listen, you get on one side, you get on the other, lightly put your hands on it, and I'm going to swim, and the other dude going to carry the flashlight.
I feel like that's too much work for the only Negroes in the group.
And then
I feel like that was too much work.
Whenever you got halfway in, and the dude was already fussing, like, hey, don't put too much weight on it. I looked at you and I was like, say, dog, if you don't want to do this, it's okay.
And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. Because I feel like I'm being pressured and I'm already nervous. And I'm not supposed to hold up this whole group of people, which it was like maybe 6.
Yeah, but they was ready to have fun, too.
They were. And I didn't want to hold them up. So I was like, nah, forget it. So then the guy's like, well, you want to go to the end and that's the shallow part and we can take pictures. Perfect. Get a couple Instagram photos, be cute. Yeah, Jaye, hey, that's the Cenote. Nigga, and what's so funny is we saw this exact same situation right before we left on like a travel blog or something, where it was like a big ass hole in the ground. First of all, we had to walk to the end on land, and they have these fucking jungle ants that are like this big and black, and they were like eating dead snakes and shit. But anyway.
You remember the episode of South Park when it was in the rainforest? It was exactly like that.
And that big bug was on her back and all those big... Yes, it was just like that.
It was just like that.
So we're walking and we get to this big hole. The hole wasn't even that big. It was probably like this big in the ground. Yeah. And there's a rickety ass ladder. And you see nothing but darkness. And the guy's like, you just come down there. It's shallow. Just come down here. So he just bloop, 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 all the way down there. And I'm looking down like, what? And I can see him when he gets to the bottom because he goes off to the right a little bit. And so that's where the light is. So I'm like, okay, it's probably very pretty there. But we have to go like 20 feet down into the ground to even get there. And I was like, dog, we paid this money for the Cenote. I was literally like, let me just get in the zone. And if I could just make it down this ladder, we'll be good. And you couldn't like pussyfoot on the ladder either because the jungle ants are all over the ladder. Yeah. So you have to like go. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put myself up and do it. And then I looked up at you and you were like.
I looked down in that hole. I ain't even going to bullshit y'all. I looked down in that hole and I looked at her and I was like, bitch, if you don't get your ass up, bring your ass back up.
So needless to say, I made it down, I think, like 3 steps, and then we were like, nah, that's okay. And I think they were kind of nervous that we were going to, like, ask for our money back or whatever. I was like, look, it don't even matter. It was like $60, of course,
I ain't saying I got it like that.
But look, it ain't I got it like that today to not deal with it.
It ain't your fault that I don't want to do it.
Right.
It ain't your fault.
So we were just like, as long as y'all don't give us no heat, just take your wetsuit and all this, your life jackets.
You have all this shit.
And we got back in the cab and we were going to go to another one. And then we were going to go to Casa Tortugas, Cenotes. But the line was really, really long. We were really, really hungry. I was hungry.
Yeah.
And so we decided, you know what? Man, forget this. We on vacation. I feel like when you're on vacation, if there's something that you genuinely don't want to do, you're there on vacation. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Or if you change your mind at the last minute, you change your mind. So we decided to go get some tacos at, I believe it was called Taqueria Honoria, I think, like Honor Tacos. So we ended up going there, pay like $10 for like 12 tacos. And it was so good.
Oh, them things money, boy.
Oh, it was so good. So yeah, and then after that, we went to the beach, like the beach area, and that was the best. We went to
and if you've been on Instagram or Facebook, you'd have seen how many skunks drunk Jay was. How many skunks drunk was you?
4.
Damn, folks, skunks.
But they had like the little. They weren't day beds, but like the little beach lounge chairs. And then, because it was a restaurant, but on the beach, of course. And then you have the beach, you have the water. The water was so blue, and it was so pretty. And the shots were pretty cheap. And the Long Island got me. The Long Island got me. The food was okay.
I mean, it was
okay. It did the job. We just had like appetizers. But I think that was really relaxing for us.
Yeah. Just to be able to sit out and just...
And the weather wasn't like ridiculously hot. Like it was like the low 80s, but it was also cloudy. So it wasn't
playing music.
Right. And it was just a good little vibe. So did that.
So tell me about that man getting mad.
So as we get out of the taxi to get to the little beach club, everywhere you go, especially when you travel a lot like we do, to places where they're always selling like little tchotchkes, little, whatever. They always yell at you, and then when they're yelling at you, of course they're trying to get you to buy something.
Damn.
And so I don't, like I said earlier, I hate not like at least acknowledging when people are saying something to me. So this guy's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, no, thank you. And he's like, I said, welcome to the beach club. And I was like, oh. He was mad.
Y'all. Oh, he was upset.
He was really upset.
But damn, you was just also trying to sell somebody some hats.
Right. So how do I know? How am I supposed to not think that you're not trying to sell me some bullshit, whatever that you're selling on that table? But anyways, that was a good time. Even though I also
enjoyed the ruins.
I was just about to say the ruins were definitely nice. I can't remember how much we paid. It wasn't a lot though. For both of us, it was like probably $40. But we didn't just pay for the entrance. We paid to have an actual guide.
Yeah, that guy was clutch.
He was really cool. He called himself Kevin Costner because he was like our bodyguard. But it wasn't too much walking. And again, nice. If you were on our Instagram, Jaye and Hatah podcast, you'll see some pictures. But it was really nice. Now the weather was perfect because it wasn't really cloudy. It wasn't too hot. It was warm, but it wasn't too hot. And there were a lot of people there, but still enough to where, you can have your distance from people. And the ruins were beautiful. He gave us the history, how to tell if you're interacting with someone who's like a native Mayan by like the height differences. And he told some jokes, and that was a really good time. Not just going on vacation, but actually getting some history.
I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much without the guys.
I feel like we wouldn't have been there long.
You wouldn't have got much of the backstory. You'd have just been taking pictures for the sake of taking pictures.
Right. And then, like you said, the backstory and like looking at the actual structure of the buildings and knowing that, this little section where this window is because of where it's facing. If you're standing right here, it means this, and what makes Tulum special and how they thrived back then. It was a history lesson, but like a fun history lesson.
Yeah, it was good.
So definitely,
he taught you some words, some Mayan words.
I know he taught me some "Ko'osh." That means let's go.
Let's go.
So definitely go see some ruins. There's different ruins, and some are further away, some are closer. But the one we went to was in town, or close to town. And it was a good time. They have like a bunch of shops and restaurants around too, because it's a touristy site.
Yeah.
So you can buy like your souvenirs. I bought like a cute little beach bag. Listen.
I ain't buying that.
The pharmacy. Don't lie. Don't lie. It's a pharmacy. It's okay.
Tylenol.
Right, some Tylenols and some threes. No, but also, in Mexico, you can get some medications that you don't necessarily need a prescription for. Now, they're not illegal medications or anything, but if you listen, they have it there for you to buy and purchase.
I ain't saying that I need them. I'm just saying if you boys, need some dick pills.
If you need some Viagra, you are going to pay $100 per Viagra pill, no question.
But they do 2 for 1, so you get 2 for 1.
They do not do 2 for 1.
Yeah, they did 2 for 1.
They did not do 2 for 1. Not on the Viagra pills.
Yes, he did.
Even still, That
I was calling, hey boy, you remember you were buying a pill, boy?
You know what? Yeah, I got you.
Hey, so you went cash out.
So yeah, that was fun. Even though someone got really, really drunk at the beach, they did not fall asleep at like 6:45.
Okay, let me tell you what happened. Look, when I drink, man, look, I'm straight as long as we moving.
You weren't even drunk though. I was.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm finna tell you. It wasn't the fact that I was drunk. I wasn't drunk. I'm just saying, you know, when you drinking and then you get to a point where you just sit still for too long.
Oh, you just fall asleep.
Yeah, I'm not drunk.
Oh, okay.
But we were still out, you know.
But you were knocked out. Yeah, you were knocked out. Meanwhile, I'm up like, what was I watching? Watching Seinfeld and The Simpsons in the Airbnb. But that's okay. That's okay though. I mean, it was cool. But so the other excursions that some people do, because like we did this, you know, we attempted to do the cenotes. We did the ruins, and then we went to the beach, the public beach.
Yeah.
There's also it's Akumal Monkey Sanctuary.
Oh yeah,
we didn't get to go, but we did interact with some monkeys at the actual ruins, so that was cool.
We didn't do the big lady.
Yeah, the big at Azulik. I think that's what it's called. The big lady. If you see pictures of people that go to Tulum, it's this big lady made out of like sticks or wood or whatever. We didn't do a lot of the touristy type pictures.
Man, they was telling us the line was long. Boy, if you know me, I don't know.
The line could be like an hour just to take a picture with her. Listen, I don't even know her like that to try to take a picture of her like that.
I ain't waiting.
So we're not waiting no hour. But definitely a lot of people recommend like Cenotes, the monkey sanctuary. The beaches. There's also other excursions that I think the next time we go to Cancun or fly into Cancun, we may not necessarily stay in Tulum because there's like this little private beach, a little private area called Balacar, I think. Don't quote me on that, but and then there's also like a pink beach, but it would have taken like a whole like 10-12 hour day to get over there, enjoy it for a little bit, and then travel back to Tulum.
You have to dedicate a strong day.
So I think the next time we go, that's definitely something that we want to do, but we won't necessarily stay in Tulum. We'll either stay in Cancun or actually go stay in Balagar or wherever closer to where that beach is. There's also like zip lining and like other like you can get a catamaran, get like a little small boat or do like boat parties or whatever. We didn't decide to do any of that this time because
we just wanted to see what it was about.
Right, because this also wasn't our first time going to the Cancun, Mexico area, so it's pretty inexpensive to go, or at least when we go. Yeah. So we try to save something to do for the next time.
So speaking of parties, tell them about this Black in Tulum group's beach party.
So in like I said, the Facebook group Black in Tulum, they host a beach party every Sunday. They do like a Welcome Wednesdays where it's like at like a restaurant, beach club or something on Wednesdays. But of course we flew in on Friday. They had something going on that Friday night, but we didn't make it because we were too exhausted. But Saturdays they didn't do anything, but Sunday they do a beach party.
And they do a brunch before that.
Yeah, they do a brunch before that. They had stopped the brunch for a little while, but then they brought it back. They didn't bring it back until like that weekend we had just got there.
Happened to be there.
But we weren't planning on doing brunch. We ended up, we wanted to sleep in a little bit and do some other stuff. So we decided to go to the beach party, which was from like 3 to 7.
Yeah.
Now listen.
But you had a good old time.
At first, I didn't care for the DJ. Like nobody was dancing, nobody was moving. Of course, we got there right when a little before it started, so we were just kind of hanging out, and it was all right. But when it did pick up,
when it picked up, boy, it was on.
And they played Tootsie Roll.
I never thought I'd see you swag.
What? Do what? Swag surf?
Yeah, I never thought I'd see you do that.
I'm not gonna lie, I never thought I would swag surf either until the spirit moved me to, and it was pretty fun. The second time. The first time, nobody could get it together. The second time, it was good. But, like I said, I could have been the DJ. I could have been a better DJ, I will say.
We heard about 38 Tiger songs.
Oh my God. He played every Tiger song that existed and then every City Girl song that you don't want to hear. But it was a good time.
But when it picked up, boy.
When it picked up, listen, I'm not one to sing into my phone. But I had a lot of videos, most of which I posted in our story, our Instagram and Facebook story, where I was Freestyle queen in the camera. But anyways.
But if you're going to Tulum, man, and you just happen to be there on the Sunday,
right, or at
least
check out the Black in Tulum group to see what events they're having, because they have other events too.
Yeah,
those are just like their standard ones that they try to have pretty routinely, because people are always going there. I bet in the summertime it's
boy, I
bet it is. But and then and with your ticket, because the ticket was like $28 per person. It didn't include food. Now, one thing I didn't like, one critique I have, don't call it the Black in Tulum barbecue beach party, and there was no barbecue. And while there was food, the food wasn't included in your ticket price.
But I mean, like we discussed when we was there, I understand marketing, right? And I understand there was grilled items on the menu, and people call grilled stuff barbecue. You can kind of loophole it a little bit, but from us being from Texas, barbecue is barbecue.
Chips and salsa is not barbecue.
But Mexico. But that cheese, boy, was disgrace.
Listen. Anyway, that cheese was terrible. The cheese, terrible.
Terrible.
I could have brought my own. But no, the beach party was fun. So I guess my lasting question would be: would you go back? Would you go back to Tulum?
I thought it was cool, but I think I'd rather stay in Cancun.
I think I would either rather stay in Cancun or stay in another area, like maybe do Cancun for a day or two, depending on how long we're there.
Yeah.
And staying in another area, or like visiting different areas of, that particular.
Because there's things that I want to do, but they're not necessarily in Tulum.
And you don't want to spend all that time traveling to it.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like you stay in Cancun, it's already 3 hours past Tulum, and then so coming from Cancun, I don't know.
It makes for a full day, and you ain't even got there yet. So we're all about relaxing. And if you've already been on a plane, then you're having to drive to Tulum.
Then you ain't vacation. I mean, that's just me, man. Like I don't want to be on the go when I'm on vacation. Then vacation from my vacation.
And then we were there from a Friday to a Monday, so we didn't have too many days.
Yeah.
But everything was cool. The Airbnb was definitely nice.
Would you go back? You didn't say if you would go back.
I would. I'm the same way. I think I'm good on Tulum, unless if we go to Cancun and let's say we want to spend a night in Tulum because there's another Black in Tulum party or an event going on or something. But as far as excursions, I feel like there is a bigger variety of excursions outside of Tulum.
Yeah.
So if that's your thing, then yes. If you just kind of want to be in the jungle and just kind of be ducked off, then Tulum is cool. I feel like it's somewhere that you should go at least once.
Yeah, for sure. You can try at least once.
And you can always go, at least that way you'll kind of know. Because Tulum is very small. So it's pretty much like 1 to 2 like main roads, really. Yeah. So I would go back, but I wouldn't go back so quick. Like there's other areas that I want to definitely
other places I'd rather go.
But it was cool. Shout out to Black in Tulum because we had fun.
Yeah, we did.
Shout out to our driver Sergio. He was amazing.
Got them titty bitches.
He got them all right.
He was like, y'all got to get them out.
But yeah, I think that was a good trip. It was a quick weekend, Friday to Monday. Of course, going back, you had to have like we said earlier, a negative COVID test, and that was like $35. You could find test centers anywhere, and you get your results in like an hour.
And they ain't email to you in an hour.
Listen, clear your sinuses up, and you're good to go.
She went for it.
But other than that, it was a good time. It was cute. It was a cute little quick weekend. Now I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah, you got Belize coming up.
We got Belize coming up, so we're gonna give you a Belize
for your
video
birthday.
For my birthday, the day of my birth, my name day.
For your birthday.
So yeah, we'll definitely be giving you guys a video episode about Belize.
So if you want to see all that,
yes,
we'll tell you later in the show, like where you can find us, so you can see all that. But before that, there's one thing that we always got to do.
And what is that?
But do you have the petty words of wisdom?
No, I do.
Talk to me.
So, this week's petty words of wisdom. And I say this with the utmost importance. If you're not doing better than the person you're talking shit about, then shut up. There's nothing I hate more than hearing people talk about, like people talk about celebrities, what they do with their money and stuff. Shut up, because who cares how much Cardi B spent on her daughter's birthday party? If she spent $1 million, she has it to spend and you don't. Shut up. Get $1 million first before you have something to say.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
It makes you look, if you're not doing better than the person you're talking about, you literally look like a hater. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Just short and sweet.
So when we go to Belize,
yes,
here in a few weeks,
you're gonna see Hatah get drunk like a skunk.
That's what they say.
Yes,
but you know, in order to see it, you gotta follow your boy on Instagram at Lord Hatah,
or me at Jaye Do Say, or both of us.
Or you can follow the podcast at
Jaye and Hatah Podcast, and then we're also on Facebook as well.
Yeah. Or if you got, or if you just want to check us out on the internet, you can find us at www.janehatah.com.
Yes. Any other news or anything like that? Anything for the people? Anything you want to say?
Nah, I ain't got it.
Not today.
You know what, man? You know, as I always like to tell y'all, man, I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all for listening.
We appreciate y'all tuning in and giving us feedback, especially when we're like, what do y'all want us to talk about? We want to hear what y'all want us to talk about. Yeah, because y'all want to hear
about this Cancun thing, man.
Right. So, we gave y'all what y'all asked for.
I mean, you probably like it.
No, cenotes are cool. They are, listen, the older I get in life, the more I realize, everything is not for you. Cenotes are not for us. And that is okay.
That's okay.
If you want to go to Tulum and visit all the cenotes that Tulum has to offer, more power to you. I hope you enjoy. Please tell me and take a lot of pictures because there are some great pictures to be taken. However, as for Jaye and Hatah, we will be getting drunk on the beach on Don Julio shots. And White Hennessy. That weekend was sponsored by White Hennessy.
For sure.
Or Hennessy White, whatever the case may be. But yes, thank you guys for listening. And as always, protect your peace. Bye.